Imagine a spiritual pathway that addresses your physical health, emotional frequency, mental clarity, and spiritual well-being, all in perfect harmony. This isn't just an ideal. It's the comprehensive nature of the Goddess Emergence show with Dr. Brie Gibbs, a spiritual leader, healer, and trance medium, who alongside of Goddess Belle, the creator, and other masters will share information never before released on the planet to help guide and evolve humanity, and along the way, heal the 4 dimensions of body, emotions, mind, and spirituality. This show is about true spirituality, offering a new earth narrative and effective path to well-being as it accelerates the journey of our spiritual evolution to keep pace in this rapidly changing world. Get ready to emerge the goddess within each of us, both the feminine and the masculine. If you have any questions about yourself that you have no answers to, this is the show for you. Let's emerge together and emerge better. Now here is your host, Dr. Brie Gibbs.
Everyone, this is Dr. Brie Gibbs, and welcome to the Gods Emergence, where we emerge together and emerge better. Today is a very special show for me. I'll be speaking with Dr. Pat as my special guest today about things I went through to emerge a goddess in me that has not been known on the planet ever before. Goddess Belle and I went through 3 months of a transformation, and I'll be explaining that today. Hello, Dr. Pat. How are you?
Hey, Dr. Brie. It's great to be here. I think people are ready to have the conversation now, ready to really have a sense of what they can do next, how they can take care of what's going on inside of them, and how they can rise above whatever that is going on the outside of them. And that's part of what you're sharing today, right?
Yes. So I want to talk about, first of all, the transformation that Goddess Belle and I had to do. And it was not an ordinary transformation. It was emerging together. And that's why we call this the Gods Emergence. So what has happened is we have 70 trillion cells in our body. Everything had to merge together as one. And the downloads and the upgrades and we were sick, headaches, everything had to merge together. So she is in me permanently. And the consciousness together is so deep. And this is the first time this has been done. And when this all happened, I wanted to explain why. So let me start with this. I did not realize I made an agreement to do this with my highest self. And, we say, okay, well, we all made this agreement. Well, I'm one that didn't remember. And so it's okay. But I had a lot of support, but the thing about it is, as we merged together, every day was a different experience. Either we were sick, or we didn't want no lights on, and we couldn't listen to no music, nothing. It was so intense, it had to be quiet. But the nicest thing about it is I had ascended masters and everyone watching over me in my bedroom constantly to watch that the progress was happening exactly how it needed to happen. There were times that I thought I was not going to make it, and Goddess Belle didn't think she was going to make it, and beings from the other side had to come in and actually hold us and let us know that we were going to be okay. And that's the comfort that we both need, and that's what people need too at the same time.
Yeah.
They're walking this earth right now. So Goddess Belle, that's what we name her. We do not give her name out. Is one of the sisters that I'm going to explain about in a later show, but I will explain a little today. But healing the pain we had to go through. So as we did this, all of my memories that I had of pain and resentment of anything I had to heal at the same time. And she had to feel all that. With her never being on a platform, think about that. She never had to feel any of our human pain. It's something to think about. And then as she was integrating and we were doing the work we were doing, the more was coming out. And if I hadn't had the support from friends and from family members and other people, sometimes I thought I would never make it. And I would get a call or a text, did you eat today? No, don't feel like it. Why? I couldn't eat. We literally could not eat. There were times that we couldn't sleep. There were times that we were both sick, and so now, I want to explain beyond the pain what has happened now. And beyond the pain is nothing but pure joy. I've learned so much from her. And she's learned from me. Knowing what it's like to be here now. So that's kind of my opening statement with what's happening.
Brie, I think one of the things that I just want to remind people of is that we as human beings have been given so many layers, right? We don't know, because we don't know what happens when we come into the world. We don't really know what an infant really experiences, unless there are some that have come in the world that have extraordinary memory, right? They can go back. And certainly past lives help us.
Yes.
But we all have that innate ability to connect. We all have that innate ability. We call on it in times of trauma. We shout out, Jesus, help me. Mary, help me. Right?
Right.
We do that. What's the problem with that? The problem with that is that we're shouting out, unbeknownst to us, all the time we're shouting, we got the answers that are being given to us all along the way.
Right.
And I think what you're talking about is, the goddess emergence. It's not just a thing.
Yeah.
What it is, it's a call to action for us to remember the gentleness and yet the power of the formation of Earth and the cosmos.
Correct.
Right?
So, as there were a couple of abilities that were taken away from me during this time, where I couldn't see and I couldn't hear. I was used to having all the senses, and I felt like I was blind. But at the same time, I was given enough of a conduit was given to me, so I could hear what I need to hear. And so, but the one thing I want to say is everything we need is inside of us. Everything, all the answers are there if you look deep enough. If you're willing to go through that pain and look at, why did something happen to me as a child? Why did I not remember it? So that was one thing I had to remember, was some trauma as a child, and heal that. This all had to be healed completely, or as an adult. And at the same time, Goddess Belle was going through the whole thing with me and seeing it, where there's a lot she did not know. So, again, everything is inside of us. The answers are inside of us. So yes, you can yell to Mother Mary. You can yell to Master Jesus. You can yell to Mrs. Brown. You can yell to everybody. But the answers are inside of each one of us. I can't say that strong enough. We look outside of us. You can get an answer from another healer, or I can get an answer from you, Dr. Pat. But is that answer truly for me? And sometimes we blindly follow those answers without looking what the true ones are.
I love that we're talking about this. I want to just bring this down to a little common sense for people, because they don't even know that every day this is happening. Right before the show, I get a delivery, right? And it's, I'm not going to mention the brand name, but it's sparkling water. It's what I get, and I get it delivered. And this is what happens to us. On the outside, everything looks great, but I didn't open it in my kitchen. Why? Why didn't I open it in my kitchen? It would make sense.
Right.
That's what happens. I get a delivery, but I didn't. I somehow knew not to do it. And I brought it to the laundry room, the mud room, whatever we call that room, which has a closed door. Why am I sharing this? Because throughout the series of the show, every show you do, you're going to be sharing insights. You're going to be helping people that call in. Why? So that every one of us could pay attention. Did I hear a voice say, Pat, take it into the other room? No, I didn't. But those of us that stop long enough to pay attention, we've had to do some healing.
Yes.
And that's what you're talking about. This is something before, when you were doing the other shows, before you had to go through this, Brie. But I have a question for you around this. Now,
Sure.
the end of that story was that by the time I opened up the box from Amazon, and then the box inside the box, the sparkling water was in plastic wrapped, but the cardboard was soaking wet. I had never, why am I saying it? Because I literally opened it up and there was black mold all over the inside of that. And if I'd have opened that up in my home, right?
Right.
Clearly I didn't stay in that room, but why am I sharing this? Because throughout the show, you're going to hear powerful message about the earth, but also these messages for each and every one of us every day to tap into that magic that's inside of all of us, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. So when you tap into it and you really look like, let's just say, I want to feel the energy of the elementals. I'll use that for an example.
I love that.
And you know how I am about the elementals anyway. And so I tap in them and I call them and I feel their energy in the house, outside the house. And it's like, oh my gosh, the peacefulness I feel. Yeah, they're here, they're watching over us, they're here for the great shifts of consciousness, they're here for everything. And to help guide us. But they like to play tricks, hide my car keys, things like that.
well, have a box of sparkling water show up like full with black. I mean, what's the message in that?
Right.
But you're right. They're tricksters, aren't they?
They are. And they're actually really fun. They like to play with my dog's ears while we're sleeping or whatever and wake everybody up. And I'm going, okay, let's just see what's happening, Mm-hmm. But those are things I pay attention to. But now that I've emerged with Goddess Belle, yes. I can feel the pain when I step on the grass. I can feel more intense pain and senses than I've ever felt. So you may see a homeless person on the street that go, oh, they put themselves there. And then I get the message, they didn't put themselves there. There is a reason. You don't know their story. You don't know their journey. You don't have a right to judge them. Yeah. And that's one thing I'm very big about. And you've known that.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And it's like, why not help them?
Why not, Dr. Brie? I mean, isn't this why you're doing the show? It's to really not answer the question, why not, by talking about it, but it's to show people how to help others. Right. I was looking at your website today. For those of you out there, Dr. Brie Gibbs, GIBBS.com. Just go over and check it out. And, you're going to hear more of her story. We're going to post some things up. But you had to go through several years of this. I just want to be very clear. Mm-hmm. And what you've created in the invitation for people via the digital blueprint, whatever we want to call it in contemporary time, you've created now an invitation. This is the second show of many. This will be a live call-in show. Mm-hmm. You may have guests on this show. Goddess Belle may be on this show. It doesn't matter who shows up because mm-hmm. you're called to help other people heal, right? Yes.
When the creator had talked to me, and because I was going, I don't know if I can do this job. And the one thing he said is, I picked the right gods for this. And sorry, I kind of choke up there, because when you hear that message and you know that you are so honored to do this job, and it truly is a job. They say journey is a job. I'm telling you, it was, from healing the physical, the emotional, mental, spiritual, and you get that all out. It's worth every tear. It's worth everything I've gone through. And I'm so happy back here, Dr. Pat. And now today explaining more about this. So beyond the pain right now is bringing us both out right now as she listens to every word I'm saying. And yes, you will be on the show very soon. And so it's an easy transition. It does not have to do a bunch of breathing, bring her in, out. It's just, she's here, And
well, I'm sorry. And the reason I brought up the sparkling water example was to prove that point. Now, people don't know, you and I speak several times a week, several times a day sometimes. And so, of course, some of it rubs off on me. But you see how simple that was to simply know. And I just want to say this to everybody listening. You're going to want to call into the show. Please write this number down, 1-800-930-2819. The reason I'm telling you that is because there are things in your life right now, and you're probably right, Brie. They're probably going through some pain about them, even though we
Oh,
want to
yes.
put the face on, right?
Right.
We're like, but this is for you to share how you went through this with the masters, the beings watching you both go through this, right?
Right. And they're
And
still
now you've
here.
emerged.
Right.
But that's why we call this emergence.
Right. And so now that the emergence is done with me and with Goddess Belle, now I want to talk about something else that I think we only have, about 10 minutes left or whatever?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, good. Let's just go for it. No break.
Go for it.
Okay, so y'all have heard about Pele and her 4 sisters. I've done a seminar on that. Okay, well, there was actually a 6th sister that no one heard about, and that is Goddess Belle. And she is here because of the great shift consciousness of what we're going through now. So all 5 or 6 of us sisters are here now. So you have Pele, Marriah, Isis, Gaia, Quen Yen, and now Belle.
Yeah.
And she's one that no one had heard about.
Yeah. I love it. I got to tell you, I want you to talk more about this, because we're going to do a lot of shows on this. We're going to do much more on this. And I can't wait for you to launch your new webinar series, your new circle, the Goddess Emergence circles you're creating. This show is so pivotal for you to have a voice now. And you're so beautifully articulating this journey. You're so powerful in this moment as you're speaking your truth. And I got to tell you, it is hard for people to speak their truth right now, Dr. Brie.
And that's kind of where I was a long time ago. I was afraid to speak my truth. And when I learned I could speak my truth and love myself and know that everything I was saying, and each word I say is a code, as you are aware of codes, and I'm not afraid to speak my truth to anybody. This is how I feel. This is what I know. And, the different things that I'll be teaching about. And, Belle will be talking about, and Isis and Gaia and all the sisters of us are all together. But why was it necessary to bring all of us back right now? You have an idea on that?
I'm going to let you take that one.
Because of the world chaos that's going on right now. I did not know that I was one of the goddesses of the sisters. I didn't know that. All of a sudden I find out I'm what? It's kind of like, huh? I'm here. We had talked years ago about the, arcane ascended masters and bodies and different things, right? And all of a sudden it just dropped off, and I was like, we're not done. Where'd you all go, guys? We're not done.
Yeah.
But that was just a time and phase that they looked at it. But with me, I was very serious. We're not done. We had to finish reincarnating or incarnate, whichever one we were doing.
Yeah. You see, I love this, what we're talking about, because I just want to say this to folks. I've done a couple of shows here recently, even a pre-record this morning where we talked about the power of perseverance. I get that from Mama Doris, my stepmom, right? And it's hard to describe what that is. You were brought back because you weren't done, but you knew you weren't done and had to take this on. You see, people think perseverance is a very static energy. It's not. See, you had to be a partner in the conversations with the sisters, and you had to agree.
Yes.
And I don't know what it's like for you, but let me ask you this question. Sometimes when we're called forward, I know I'm feeling this now, and I felt it now for about a couple of years. When we are called forward and we create resistance in ourselves to just follow the pathway, boy, does that get hard, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. That's why I was so sick. I knew what I had to do. But there were times I was fighting it. And so at night, we leave our bodies, right? And there were times in the meetings, in the council meetings, I said, I am not doing this. You are not stripping me of this power or that power, But You know, now that I know that, but at the time, I remember coming out angry and that was it. But the thing about it is, so I lost a couple pounds for a little bit, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
And now that we're all here at the pivotal time of this transformation that's happening on the planet, and it truly is a transformation also, that we've got to get this information out to
Yeah.
people. They need to understand, know the power that's inside of you, start claiming it. Make sure it's right information that you get from people.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're not being led one way or the other, and you're uncomfortable. You know, get a hold of me. I'll help you. That's what I'm here for, and that's what the other sisters are here for. So now there's 6 sisters on the planet to get us through the shift.
Yeah. And by the way, you can get a hold of Brie right on our website. There are places where you can schedule a discovery session. You
Right.
just go to Dr. Dr. Brie, Brie Gibbs, Gibbs.com. Just go over there and you'll be able to get time. As we move on, there are many things we're going to talk about. There are many energies that people are feeling. And I think part of what, the power of what you're bringing now is to be able to support people and help people as they do their own, spiritual surgery on getting through whatever it is they have to get through, whatever you have to let go of. I mean, each of us has something that we hold on to, even though we don't think we do. Right?
I'd like to say something that.
Yeah.
One thing I want everybody to know, every day is a healing day, no matter what. You might spill your coffee, and you're going, darn it, why did I do that for, right? I'll use that for an example, right? And you go, why did I do that? Why did I trip over this box? Or like the box you carried in? That is a form of healing. So you go and you figure out why. And then you take all that back, you go, okay, it's the physical, the emotional, mental, spiritual, and you're back with it now. And now you know what to do with that box of water. Same thing with inside of us. So, we say, heal the inner child. Well, if you don't remember that abuse happened as a child, how do you heal it? And that's what Goddess Belle and I and the other masters that will be coming through will be helping everyone with. So this is what the Gods Emergence is all about.
Yeah. I want to talk for a minute in the few minutes we have left is the idea of the, emerging. That's such a powerful word, emerging. But also, you also say emerge together, emerge better.
Yes.
And so the call to action may be the work that you do as individual, but the bigger picture is the collective, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I will do work with individuals, but there's a collective that is behind me and working with me to be able to work with them. So, and that one day you will meet the conduit and hear the conduit bring other beings through. One thing is I am not a conduit. That's one thing I'll make very clear. Being merged together in the consciousness and all through your body, we are one.
Yep.
Where the conduit can bring others in to help.
Yeah. And that's really what merging together is about. It's really being to understand, and you're going to be able to talk to the point of your own personal resistance to that.
Right.
But look at you now.
Yeah, it took a while to get here. I had a friend that was overseas, I'll just say, and that would check on me. Are you eating? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? When this person was available. And great support that gave me.
Yeah.
Teresa gave me great support.
Yeah.
But I did not talk to a lot of people. Now, the sad thing about this is, and I know we don't have much time, is there were people that I had to actually take out of my life.
Yeah.
That I didn't realize that were not serving me. That's the nicest way to say that. And then there are people that I cut out of my life that I had to bring back in my life and explain what was going on. Because they were like, we haven't heard from you in 4 years. What are you doing? Well, this is what happened. And they're, and so I start telling the story and they start looking at themselves also. So techniques that we all learn for healing and other things else is being changed to a newer, easier way to heal also. But you have to be very serious and astute about it.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Brie, thank you so much for this. I know that in future shows, there are many, many more things we're going to talk about. What do you want to leave us with today? What's a personal message here?
now that the sisters are here, call to them. We're all waiting. My higher self's waiting, and know that you're not alone. Nobody's alone. So that homeless person you see on the street, maybe an ascended master, just waiting for you to say hi, so they can start the conversation with you and help you on your day. Know that the elementals, and know that the grass, that everyone's listening. They're just waiting for you to ask and accept and embrace their messages. That's what I'd like to leave people with today.
Thank you. Dr. Brie Gibbs, everybody, I'm Dr. Pat. Please, as we said before, you can connect with Dr. Brie directly, schedule time with her, go to her website, drbriegibbs.com. When you do that, you'll see many, many places you can find out more. You can find out more about her services, what she's doing. But please reach out, because the one thing I think Dr. Brie and I both learned, maybe the hard way, if I should say it, is that we were not meant to be alone on this planet, and we were not meant to go through things alone, because if we were, the Creator would have given each of us our own planet. We don't have our own planet. Thank you, Dr. Brie. Thank you all for tuning us in, turning us on. Thank you, Emily. Thank you for listening to the Goddess Emergence Show with Dr. Brie Gibbs. Tune in the first and third Wednesday of each month at 2 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com to experience Spiritual Pathway that addresses your physical health, emotional frequency, mental clarity, and spiritual well-being, all in perfect harmony. This isn't just an ideal. It is the comprehensive nature of the Goddess Emergence Show with Dr. Brie, a spiritual leader, healer, and trance medium who, alongside the Goddess Belle and the Creator, offer messages from the masters never shared or released on the planet. Beyond the show, Dr. Brie offers individual and group sessions at drbriegibbs.com. That's drbriegibbs.com. We hope to see you next time.